So it's later in September now, and the format is starting to define itself a little bit. And this has really gotten a lot of people reinvigorated into the game. We've had tournaments where multiple people have topped with older decks like Black Wings and such. The Dragon deck has been dumbed down quite a bit, but it's still a deck to be reckoned with. It just has taken on a different shape, a different form. We've had a Blue Eyes Structure deck come out where people are being able to integrate that into the Dragon deck using trade-ins and stuff to get rid of Blue Eyes to be able to draw. So it's been a really good time lately, and I actually have not been to any tournaments or regionals as of late. However, the other day I got a message from the owner of Ultra Reality Games that they are starting their first ARG Circuit Series, which is a new series of tournament different from a YCS. It is not affiliated with the official brand of Yu-Gi-Oh! However, they are having a $5,000 credit prize pool with $1,500 in credit going to the winner, $1,000 going to the second place, and it goes down from there. The prizes were in store credit, or you were able to go onto their website and apply that credit towards electronics, Apple products like iPads, PlayStation 4s, Xbox Ones, anything like that that's really something that you could buy. They will get it for you and they will ship it to you using that credit. It's just as good as cash in the form of you can basically get anything that you need to out of that. They will pay for hotels and flights to different events. It doesn't just have to be their event. It can be a YCS or a regional. They'll apply that, or you can save it up, and if you top multiple times you can add it all up together and go on from there. So they contacted me about being on the coverage staff. Now what that meant is they wanted me to either do things like articles or videos or something like that. So I told them I'd be glad to do video coverage for them, and would see what we could do. I really wanted to make this a good event. So after the weeks passed, I got done with work, I got done with school, I packed up my bags and I headed off to Fort Worth. I'm only about a 2.5 hour drive from Fort Worth, and I wanted to bring some friends along with me, so I had my friend Paul and my friend James in my car, and we had some other people like Irish and them that you guys have seen in previous episodes that were meeting us there. We all got in the car and we took off, and like I said, it was about a 2-hour drive, so it wasn't anything difficult for us. There wasn't a lot of footage to even capture on the way because it was such a short trip. But we left out on Friday night and we got there and really early, like about 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and so we went ahead and slept in. We got up and I had to be at the event hall at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning before the tournament started. So the first thing that I did when I got there was we got all of our equipment in and went in the back, and we went to the event hall and found the rest of the ARG members. Now, you had the big players here like Billy Brake and Fraser Smith and Patrick Hoban, and then of course you had just the rest of their event staff, the writers for their articles, and the owner himself. We were told where the feature matches were going to be held. That's what we were going to be filming, along with different things like interviews, and deck profiles and other things along those lines. So now let me give you guys a vision of what we were going to be doing at the event as far as coverage. We were going to have a table set up with a television monitor with cables running to it from the camera. That way we could see in real time the match going on the TV screen. This would allow us to do commentary and stuff like that. We tried commentary on a few videos and it worked really well, but we decided to let some of them go after that just so people could sit and watch just a normal match. And that's something we're going to play around with in the future. But it was extremely cool to be able to sit back and analyze. This let us do updates online and everything on feature matches without having to be right up against the players. Now, they had 2 feature match tables going on outside. Each one held 2 matches, so a total of 4. This allowed the event coverage staff to do written articles, and that allowed me to do video. Now, I was uploading as quickly as possible, but it was really hard because of the type of Wi-Fi we had. I was getting things up really fast, but you gotta understand, these matches were 30 to 35 minutes long. Having to upload such a big file was a really big task, and it wasn't very easy, but we did our best, and the event coverage staff with the writing articles was amazing. They were getting things up as fast as they could. Practice always makes perfect, guys, and that's what this was. It was a great chance to practice. So right away, my friend Kaylin and I, we went around and we started doing interviews with people. We started asking people why they came to this event. Why did they want to come to an ARG Circuit Series? What made it better than any of these other tournaments they'd gone to? And the general reply was that the prizes were so much better. You had potential to earn cards, cash, as in cash credit. You could get flights, hotel rooms, Xbox Ones, PS4s, all kinds of things that are really helpful to players that they could eventually sell off or that they could definitely use.
I don't know, it's just good. I feel like having good prices is not a bad thing. It can't possibly be a bad thing, you know? It's going to be very competitive. It gives people a second chance. If you're banned, like, you have a chance to play again. I don't know, it's just good. It's just, you know, we might have better coverage and things like that, so look forward to that. I'm really looking forward to the coverage and stuff. I think, like, if we ever get, like, live streaming going and, you know, good feature matches like it used to be in the old days when you see, like, a champion play a champion, you know, they get paired up, they should be featured. Like, that's just like when I came up learning because I was seeing champions play each other all the time.
Naturally, I can't wait for this event. The prize structure is amazing. Besides meeting people, you basically, when you travel, you get like a friend base. Like, your friend base extends, and like with Yu-Gi-Oh! Or any other card games, your friend base will grow so much and you will actually be friends with people for a lifetime.
We're having, you know, over $5,000 in credit prizes on day one. Total, there's $9,000 in prizes being given out. We're trying to do things so much different and so much better. We're trying to do things like they were meant to be. Right. We're trying to get the coverage that you guys deserve at home. We're trying to, you know, do our jobs.
One thing we noticed when we got there was all of the big name players that came out to this event. We had Billy Brake, Fraser Smith, Patrick Hoban, Desmond Johnson, Paul Cooper, Scott Page, Blake McCreary, and the rest of Team Legacy. Philly Luna making his Yu-Gi-Oh! Return after 2 years. YouTube personalities like myself, Asian Persuasion, Vexicus4666, and many others. The competition was really high, and there were tons of other big name players there, and we could just tell that this was setting up to be a really good tournament.
Hello everybody, how y'all doing? Welcome to the first ever ARG Circuit Series. I'd like to formally welcome you to round one. You currently have 40 minutes. You may begin.
There turned out to be 320 players at the event, which is really, really good for something that didn't get as much advertising as it would have liked. And also, people didn't know what to expect out of this tournament with prizes, with was it worth going. You know, this was going to be a really good trial and error, and hopefully we're going to see some big names come out of the top. As we sat down for day one, we started off with a great feature match of Philly Luna playing another player, and the thing that made this so good was Philly Luna has been gone for about 2 years. He has won 4 YCSs/SJCs, which, as far as winning the premier events, we believe that that is the most that have been ever recorded.
The only number that I really keep up with is the championship wins that I have, and that's 4.
You have 4 championship wins.
I have 4 championship wins, and to this day, no one can, you know, stand up to those credentials.
We also had Billy Brake facing Trey Massengale in the round 1 feature match. Trey Massengale, of course, is a YCS champion that he won with some form of zombies a few years ago, and Billy Brake, of course, being a multiple-time topper and back-to-back YCS champion winner. This was a really cool match to see go on, and it really gave us a chance to test out our recording and everything for the first day. After all of this moved on, we had so many awesome feature matches. Billy Brake playing Fraser Smith in one of the rounds. Fraser Smith playing other people. We had Patrick Hoban going against some people in the feature matches, and the reason we got these people was because they are names people recognize and would want to watch. When we put those videos up, they get way more attention than videos of people that nobody knows. So what is the use of putting up people that nobody knows when it's not going to get out there for people to see? So that's where we went with that, and that's why we tried so hard to get the big names for you guys. So as the day got later, I was extremely hungry. I hadn't eaten anything all day, and a lot of my members there that were writing on article coverage and stuff like that, they were getting tired. We were getting really hungry, and we were having troubles with the Wi-Fi. We had 2 different ways of getting really, really good Wi-Fi that the general public could not be on. However, all of us uploading things online and 2 other people doing videos at the same time was really taking up a lot of bandwidth, and it was getting really hard to be able to push these videos up online. But we were working as hard as we could, and we were extremely happy when the end of day 1 was coming.
Game 1 basically came down to me opening up Stardust Emptiness. He did have to play around because I had a Ravine on the field, so when I played Emptiness on his Blaster Summon, he played Terraforming and then played Ravine over top of my thing, and then it kind of got out of hand. We both basically went to a top deck mode. We had nothing.
Right.
And he drew a sword, and the next turn I drew a sword, and then I just kind of took it over from there. Next turn I just decided that, well, we don't need to go any further than this. I have game, and I'm just going for it. I know he doesn't play Scarecrow, or at least I'm like 99% sure he doesn't play Scarecrow.
Right.
Yeah, like their deck doesn't. He doesn't play Maxi. He doesn't play Scarecrow. So I was like already to the point where I'm like, okay, well he doesn't have any back rows. He has a Colossal Fighter. I can just kill him.
Right.
So I just went for game.
I am 6-0. I have played against Spellbooks. I'm playing with Dragoonity Rulers. The match was so-so. I definitely believe in punishment for bad players, and I misplayed 3 times in that match. But I sacked my way out of it in game 3. I draw, I'm just accumulating wealth, and I have the field spell, and he never decides to MSC it, which I think was his downfall. If he didn't MSC that, I would have been behind in the game so much. I resolved 2 swords and didn't get anywhere.
I'm playing Heretics. I mixed it with Swag, so the nickname is called Swagatics. I'm playing against Infernities. I 2-0'd it, so the match only took like 5 minutes. So.
Once the last couple of matches ended, we got all of our stuff together, we packed up, we left at the event what we could leave, and we decided that Vexicus 4666 was going to come meet with us, and we were going to go hang out, and eventually some of the other staff writers and judges came and ate too. We all went to Chili's and just kind of hung out and had a really fun time. I haven't seen Cordero in a few months, and I didn't get to see him in Vegas because he wasn't there. I got to see Slim in Vegas, but of course Slim can't be at this event, so that really stunk not getting to see both of them at the same time. But catching up with Vexy was great. We went and got some drinks, got to eat and some stuff with some of my other friends, and it was just an absolutely good time. We went and looked around town for a little bit. Fort Worth isn't anything crazy to me because I'm from Oklahoma City, so we didn't really go see a lot of the sights, but we did get to hang out for a little bit, and we decided to go crash back at the hotel so that we could get up the next morning to be at the event at 7 o'clock. Now, we didn't get up quite as early as we expected the next morning, and we were about 30-40 minutes late, but luckily there wasn't a lot to do. We knew the routine that was going to go up, and so this was really easy to throw together. We got all of our stuff set up, and we actually found ways to assign the Wi-Fi a little bit better so that we could get this coverage up for you guys in a much better fashion. And videos started coming up, and we were getting really positive results. Now, some of the people didn't like the commentary that was going on the duel videos. That's okay. We were dumbing it down a little bit in the mindset of kids watching or people watching that may not know as much about the game and being able to explain things, but we could tell people wanted the knowledge of the game to be up a little higher on the commentary, which is something we did later on in the event. So it was great getting positive feedback, and so we knew what was working and what wasn't working. We decided that they were actually going to do the entire top 16 out in the main hall, which was awesome because we had the feature matches going on, but all around there were all these top players, and getting to watch these games on the screen, it was incredible seeing the level of gameplay that was going on, and it's not something you see in your everyday games. Yes, most players were running dragons. There were a few Dragoonities. There was a chain burn. There were a few prophecy and some other things, but dragons are clearly the best deck. That's what you're going to be seeing around. Until they put the dragons each at 1 or something, that's what you're going to see. So as the top 16 and the top 8 started rounding down, Paul Cooper got knocked out. We saw Philly Luna get knocked out in top 16 with his Black Wings, as well as a few other players, but Fraser Smith was still in it to this point. Billy Brake was still in it to this point, along with Patrick Hoban and Scott Page. Now, I also had a friend there from Collector's Cash in Lawrence, Kansas, named Jordan Pollock. He gave me an interview early on, and I started finding out he was actually playing Chainburn.
What I'd say is the way that I tested for this format is you got to grab your opponent's deck and just sit down and just start playing with it. You know, obviously casually, not in a tournament like this, but you got to know how spellbooks play. You have to know how dragons play. And even, you know, all the little low decks that are tier 2, you have to know how Blackwings play, Constellars, Evil Swarms. I played all of those decks. I played against all this. And everyone else, I guarantee you, they're just reaching across the table and they're reading what these cards do. They don't know rulings. They don't know if any cards had any erratas or anything like that. Just play other decks and test against your own deck as well. That will really help.
Fraser Smith had lost out around this point, and so he was actually kind enough to sit down and do a video with us and a deck profile, as well as Paul Cooper did an interview with us and Philly Luna, which was really cool. Guys, I can't express how good Philly was at this game, and so he was able to drop a little bit of knowledge on the interview, and it was really great to be getting these, both for ARG for the coverage, and also for me to just be hearing so that I could get better at the game, listening through these people. That's how I get better, and that's also how I build friendships. It was really nice to hear Philly say that he watches a lot of my videos.
But without practicing, you don't know what's out there, you don't know what to prepare for, and if you're not preparing to win, you're preparing to lose.
So as we started to get down to the top 4, we had Patrick Hoban playing against Jordan Pollock. Jordan is the guy that was running Chainburn, and to this point, Patrick Hoban had been on fire. In the Game 3 of the Chainburn match with Patrick Hoban, he was able to make an extremely good move at the very end, where Jordan was able to acquire a secret barrel with hardly any other cards in hand. And what Patrick was able to do was able to go into a Thought Ruler Archfiend, and also was able to pop his own Stardust Dragon. And what this actually allowed for was that when Jordan was going to flip Secret Barrel, he didn't have anything else able to stop Patrick. When he flipped Secret Barrel, it left Patrick with just enough life points to survive. Now when the finals started, we decided to take the banner that people had been taking photos in front of and move it in front of the commentary table where we were sitting over there doing coverage. We moved the tables back a little bit, people started surrounding, and everybody was wanting to watch to see if Scott Page or Patrick Hoban were going to be able to be the first ARG Circuit Champion. And we decided to have Fraser Smith come back with myself and my friend Kalen to do commentary over this event, which turned out great. And people really responded well to it once the videos were up. It was extremely awesome to hear just his thoughts on the game, and he could see where these plays were going, and he could see when the games were just over. So it was really cool getting to talk with him. He was such a cool guy. He thanked us for doing all the coverage. He thanked us for everything that we had been doing there. As we started doing the commentary for the last game, the games were going back and forth. Game 1, Scott opened up really well and was able to just outpace Patrick to a point that Patrick was not able to come back. And then in Game 2, Patrick was basically able to do the same thing with Scott. Scott could not get enough cards out on the board to remove all of Patrick's big monsters and everything. And so it came down to a Game 3 where we saw that Scott did not open the best hand as far as the fact that he had almost all monsters. I believe he might have had 1 Max C and maybe 1 spell. Patrick, on the other hand, had opened up really well. He opened up with a 7 swords. He opened up with he ended up drawing into a Solemn Warning and was able to get a full field. And it turned out to be a really good game. People were really getting excited around this match because it was so intense, and you could just tell that Scott was going to have a hard time coming back. And finally, after drawing more cards and just drawing into Max C and finally getting a he finally got a 7-star sword, but when he activated it, he only drew into 2 more monsters, including a Max C, and there was nothing else that he could do. He offered the handshake, and with that, Patrick Hoban became your first ARG Circuit Champion. He walked away with $1,500 in credit that he was actually going to use to get to go to YCS Italy. That's what he was spending his credit on. And, you know, congratulations to all the other people. And it was such a fun event and everything, but I was really excited that it was kind of winding down so that I could maybe go hang out with some friends and get a bite to eat and then end up hitting the road. So they did an award ceremony of sorts, and you know, we took pictures and we did some videos of different people's deck profiles, including the winner and the second place profile. But then we started packing up, started saying bye to Ben Leverett and Cordero and Frazier and Patrick and all of these other great guys. But also, this also meant that I was going to get to go hang out with James and Paul and Irish and Lacey and Brian and all of my friends that came up from OKC with me. And what I can't stress enough is how big of a help they all were, especially Paul Winhammer. His name is General PDW on YouTube. He was my right-hand man at this event. He was helping set up the cameras. He let me use a lot of his camera equipment, and I couldn't have done any of this without him. It was nice that he was able to actually get a prize pack from ARG that, you know, kind of helped pay him back a little bit for his efforts. And, you know, we all headed and went and got a bite to eat and started heading home. So as the event was closing, when I started thinking back on it and started uploading more videos, I had such a blast, and I came to the consensus that it was the best event I had ever been to in terms of the event itself. I've been to Miami, I've been to Ohio, I've been to St. Louis, I've been to Chicago, I've been to Las Vegas for Yu-Gi-Oh! For YCS's, Nationals, and Worlds. And while the cities were great, this event was so much better. We got to do filming. We got to do coverage. The players actually felt like movie stars in a way. People were taking their pictures and everything, and even the non-pro players were getting pictures taken and videos done of them, getting to read them online. Prizes went all the way down to like 15th place, and you know, it was such a fun event to go to. So while it'll never have the cartoon tied behind it, it will have an owner and a work staff that tries harder than any other staff has tried to bring you guys coverage, to let you guys be in a safe, fun environment that you're going to feel like you got your money's worth, and they just want you guys to be happy with this game, and they will do anything it takes to be able to make that happen. So at the end of the day, as their motto says, play hard or go home. And that's what I'm doing right now. I just played hard, now I'm going home.
Tonight we'll just get drunk, disturb the